See, so easy you could slice through with a fork.
Today we're making the best beef and noodles you'll ever have. Karin made these a couple weeks ago and they are just phenomenal. I've had them in the past, but not like this. We're cooking with Jill. Welcome to my kitchen. So Karin is the expert at making beef and noodles, and I'm going to turn this over to her. Go ahead, Karin.
Well, hello everybody, and again, welcome to Jill's Kitchen. So today I'm making beef and noodles. Now this is a very simple recipe. The only thing that you need to know about this recipe is it's going to take at least 5 hours to cook. Therefore, we will be making it in our Ninja Pro slow cooker, okay? So, first you're going to get yourself a nice 3 to 3.5 pound chuck roast. It's got to be a chuck roast because you want that fat. When that fat starts to melt, the meat gets soft and tender. Good stuff. We're going to take 3 onions, and you're going to make what I call chunky pieces. So it's a little bigger than chunky, but it's not, you don't want to take a bite and get like a big bite of onion. And you don't want to make them small because then they're going to disappear. You're going to wonder where all these onions are. So we're very simply going to just take our knife and make nice little chunky pieces. Okay? Very simple. Just like that. We get this all nice and chopped up. Choppy choppy. So this recipe actually came to me over many years. In my younger days when I didn't have very much money and things were a little tight, I would make a similar version. The only difference really was I would use stew meat. And yeah, you could say it's very much like making a beef stew, but it's not really quite the same. And noodles have always been cheap, so you know, a lot of times it had more noodles than it had beef or onions or broth. Yeah. So anyway, this is a wonderful recipe. It's very good, especially in cold weather. If you're looking for some kind of comfort food, this will help you get through that nice cold night. It's also one of those recipes that tends to do better overnight. Once everything gets all nice and melded together in the Frigidator, you heat it up for 20 minutes, half an hour in the slow cooker, and it's a wonderful experience. So now we've got our onions, and they're all nice and chunked up, and we're going to now spice up our meat. If you notice, all I have here is some salt and some pepper. That's all you need. You take a good sprinkling of salt and just go ahead. Make sure you get all the little bits and edges, get into all the little cracks and nooks over there, or nooks and crannies, however you want to call it. And then you're going to take some black pepper. You're going to rub that in. Why? Because it gets into the meat and you have more of a flavor. And when it sears, that pepper is going to go straight down into that meat and it's going to be delicious. But you're not going to have a mouthful of pepper if that's what you're going to think or worry about. That won't happen. Remember, very important, flip both sides. You always season all sides of your meat, be it beef, pork, chicken, doesn't matter. Make sure you give it a healthy dose of spice. All right, a little bit more black pepper. There we go, that's wonderful. Give it a nice little massage. Jill should give me a nice little massage like this once in a while.
Maybe later.
Maybe later, okay. It's always later, and yet I wait. Okay.
So how many meals is this going to make?
Well, for us, this is going to give us at least 3 dinners and 2 lunches. For a family of 4, it may last you 1, depending on how much your family enjoys it, or it might last you 2. This is, in today's prices, this piece of meat costs $19. It's approximately 3 pounds. So it is not one of the more economical meals, but if you're having a special occasion or if you just don't want to eat chicken thighs again, this is a great alternative. Okay, so now we've got our meat all nice and rubbed, rubby. We got our onions all nice and chunked. So now it's time to brown our onions and start searing the meat. So now it's been probably 5 minutes or so. Through the magic of technology and editing, you will not have had to wait the 5 minutes. So now we're going to flip our meat here. I generally prefer to do this with a really big fork.
You want to do it? You want a fork?
No, I got it. And there we go. We're getting a nice little brown sear on it. And this little guy is cooperating. Our onions are cooperating. Now, some people take their onions out and then put the meat in to sear. I don't do that. This way the meat will pick up more of an onion taste. And I don't know about you folks, but I know beef and onion is a great combination for me. And now we're going to wait another 5 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, we will begin our final prep steps, which are simple. It's a question of adding beef broth and putting on the lid. Now, if you notice, the onions getting, I guess they call this translucent, and that's good. Okay. You're going to be nice and nestled in there. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now you notice also, onions shrink when they cook. They have a lot of water apparently, and so as you cook, the water comes out, and they shrink down. Either way you look at it, they're delicious. To me anyway. Not everybody likes onions. I'm a big fan. So here we are. Another 5 minutes has passed. That was fast, wasn't it? And so as I check my roast, well, that happens too sometimes. But that's all part of cooking, folks. That's okay. Yeah, we look like we have a nice little sear on there. Okay, so we're going to lay it back down. We're going to smush our onions around a little bit. Well, we'll try not to get them all over the kitchen. That's always helpful. Okay, and now our last steps are very simple. We're going to add some beef broth. Now, it doesn't matter what brand you buy, low sodium, regular sodium. What's important to remember is you want to cover the meat barely. You don't want to drown it. You just want the meat to be covered. That's all you need. There we go. Okay? Now, that's empty. The last step for now is to cover it. Soon your house is going to smell so good you're not going to know what you are going to do. We're going to put it on slow cook for 5 hours. Now in about 2.5 hours, I'm going to come through and we're going to look at our roast. And we're going to check the onions and we're going to check to make sure there's enough liquid. And then we're going to put the cover back on and leave it to cook. Between now and then, have fun. Get hungry. So, you know, people, if you ever want to know what my greatest challenge in the kitchen is, she's standing right outside the kitchen with a fork in her hand. So there might be a little bit of a war here in a moment. Put the fork away. Put the fork away. Oh my God. So we're going to take our meat out and hope that Jill does not attack it while it's, oh, look at that. See how that's falling apart? That's absolutely perfect. Okay? Now what I like to do, because these are some very big chunks that are coming out of our pot, I like to make even smaller little pieces.
I can help break them up.
No, you can't. I don't need help, but I thank you for your effort. Okay, look at that. Look how beautiful that sauce in there, or gravy, or I don't know.
I'm an expert with a fork.
Yeah. I will agree and attest that that is the truth.
So I can
Don't come near this plant. Don't do it. Do not do it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, like I said, I want to make big pieces. I don't want shreds.
I just want that little piece. I just want... Yeah, that one. Oh my God.
See, so easy you could slice through with a fork. So like I said, I'm only going to make bigger pieces out of this because I don't want it shredded. I don't want stringy beef. I don't think anybody, no matter how tasty it is, I don't think anybody really likes shreddy beef. So we're just going to pull this apart and make some nice big pieces from it. Oh, look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Are you all right, dear? No.
Sweetheart.
No. Okay, so we have our pieces of beef. Look how beautiful that is. So what we're going to do now is we have all this beautiful liquid, and I was explaining earlier at the beginning about the onions. So if you take a minute and you look at the onions, you have nice big beautiful pieces of onion in here. And they're sauteed, they're translucent, they're nice, they're wonderful. It'll be quite enjoyable. So now what I'm going to do, put that away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more beef broth, because we're going to make our noodles right here in the same pan. Now you don't want to just add like a fly. You don't want to just add water, because then it's just, no.
Waters it down.
It waters it down, and then it's going to taste like the bottom of your shoe, and after all that cooking and anticipation, you don't want to do that. Then I'm going to take 2 packages of brown gravy mix. Now, it doesn't matter what brand you use, so long as it's brown gravy mix. And very simply, you just take this, and you see it's very complicated. We just dump it into the pan. Now, you don't want to add your gravy mix earlier than this, because it will thicken. And when it thickens and continues to cook, you're going to end up with a big glob on your hands, and nobody wants a big glob.
You're going to read it trash.
They really don't. There. We're going to just mix this around in here a little bit. Mixy, mixy, mixy. There's a nice piece of beef that fell off that's in there. Oh, it's going to be nice. Now, since it's only Jill and myself, I'm only going to make half the bag of noodles. If you're feeding more than 2 very hungry people, well, you can add the whole bag, 3/4 of the bag, however much of the bag you feel will feed your family. Okay, we got that all nice. Now we're going to take our beef, we're going to put it right back in the pan, and it's all going to cook and blend together. I'm stirring in the noodles so that every noodle gets wet and starts picking up the taste of that nice beef. I don't know if you could see all the nice little pieces of beef and onion in there. I hope you can.
You didn't put all those noodles in there, but
and now we add.
We're still going to get to three meals and a lunch or 2 out of this. I know it's a lot of money for that beef, but
look at that. Nice big chunks. Pour that over with your noodles. Oh. These guys need to be separated. Apparently, they don't want to let each other go. There we go. Okay. And that's it, people. Now we put the lid back on our pot. You know, I put the lid here somewhere. Here we go. And we come back in 15 minutes. See you then. All right, folks. So it's been about 15 minutes or so. And I am now going to check our dinner. And look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Nice chunks of beef. Nice pieces of noodle. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, and I have to keep an eye out to the side. You'll have to excuse me, because certain people, and you know who I mean, are standing with their fork. So look. Nice beef.
oh my goodness.
Look at that. And some noodles. And here we have it, folks. It takes all day to cook, but it's a minimal bit of supervision. And then you have a wonderful, beautiful dinner. Look at this. Nice, nice. And you have your onions in there. What are you doing?
I'm getting some parsley. I bought parsley today.
She bought parsley, folks. Yes, that is her idea of a vegetable. And before she sees what I'm doing, she'll want to get right up in here with me.
Look. Ain't that pretty? Actually, that plate's... Sweetheart.
That is absolutely... Get away from me!
Sweetheart.
Absolutely delicious.
Oh my goodness.
So if you'll excuse us... I think this came out better than the last one. Very good. Good job. And once again, we have used our Ninja Possible Cooker Pro, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm not a big lover of electric appliances. I prefer everything the old-fashioned way. But I will say that this cooker, if you can get one, get one.
So, leave a like, comment, share, all that kind of good stuff. Y'all have fun.
I'm having dinner. Mm.
Oh my God, that's so good.